Yes, as always, John Kelly here with Jeremiah Stringer. Jeremiah, tonight's going to be a good night.
Oh, man. I've been looking forward to this all day.
The crowd is already gathering. The comments are plentiful. Man, there's no keeping up tonight. Like, do you see all these comments? I mean, are you reading all of them already? It's insane.
Already wanting poop.
Everyday backpacker. I'm going to go ahead and put his up real quick so you can see what this one is. But it's my biggest claim to fame is that Dixie once used one of my poop stories in one of her videos. So I got that going for me.
Oh, we'll have to hear about that.
So I can't wait to find out what that was. So real quick, welcome to the Backpacking Podcast. If this is your first time ever here, let's just give you a little rundown of what's going on. I'm John Kelly. This is Jeremiah Stringer. We've been doing this for a while now. We love this medium of the live stream because we get to interact with you guys and communicate with you guys. You guys get to see Jeremiah's glorious hair. It's pretty much the most wonderful time of the week every Monday night. A few things are going to happen tonight. We've got a great guest on. You're going to hear about her in just a second. Also, something that we do on this channel, and it's something we've been doing for a while, is our glorious fake news. And the fake news ticker is now officially going. All of this news is fake, so if it's your first time here, please don't read that and think these things are actually happening, because if you believe that, you're going to probably hate us, because you're going to think, what awful people post this stuff. So, Jeremiah.
Yes.
We got a good friend who had a little bit of a rough spell. You want to kind of share a little bit about that tonight?
Yeah. Oh, Mr. Dan Becker was out west, and I won't get into the details, but he had to come off trail, had some medical attention, and he is currently in the hospital. So if you're a praying person and you want to throw out a little prayer, have him in your thoughts, and we definitely appreciate it.
Absolutely. And we were just texting with Dan earlier today, and he's in good spirits. I believe he's hoping to get out of the hospital today. So like Jeremiah already said, if you're a praying person, this might be a good time to do that for Dan. He's done a lot for a lot of people, and including us. And so our thoughts and our prayers go out to him right now. Now, without further ado, Jeremiah, this has been 3 years in the making for us, right?
Yeah. And I do want to say that this is a huge guest. And like John said, the comments are buzzing. So there's no way we can ever get to anybody anyway. But if anybody wants to help support the channel and absolutely make sure that we're going to see your comment or ask your question, feel free to throw out a super chat to us, and we'll definitely see it because it pops up flashing yellow on our end.
Yeah, and that's not a play for money. That's just literally, it's the only way we're probably going to see most of the comments, because they are just constant right now. We've got over 158 comments, and we are less than 5 minutes into this podcast. So with that said, you're done listening to us. You're done looking at us. Let's just be honest. Yeah. Right now, all you guys want to do is you want to see our current guest, the person that we want to bring on the show, and that is our good friend, Miss Dixie herself, Jessica Mills. Thank you for joining us. Are you ready to go, Jessica? No idea why that just happened. How's it going?
Well, hey, y'all.
How are you?
Doing good. How are y'all?
Doing good.
Right. Dixie, I wanted to kind of set up the show by giving everybody a little bit of background on you and kind of let you talk about how you got your start. But just a little quick intro. Triple Crowner. You've done countless smaller trails like the Florida Trail, Pinhoti Trail. Even those are big for a lot of people. You've traveled abroad, Iceland, most recently Kilimanjaro, which hopefully we'll get to talk a lot about. But how did you kind of get your start in the backpacking world? Because it was my understanding you went to university to become an engineer.
Yes, sir. That is correct. I had always been a hiker, I guess, growing up, and I was in Girl Scouts, and my mom would take me hiking, and she was kind of, or is kind of, an adventurous spirit herself. So I guess when I really learned about through hiking was when I was about 5 or so, and we were on vacation in North Carolina, and we were at Newfound Gap, and I saw the sign there, and asked her what that was, and she's like, well, that's where crazy people walk from Georgia to Maine. And so that's when the seed was planted anyway. But I didn't backpack until my through hike of the AT. So I had gone to college, become an engineer, started working for the Department of Agriculture for a while as an ag engineer, and then worked in the oil field for a while. And I was just like, I'm kind of living life backwards. Like I feel like I'm waiting for retirement and I live for the weekend. And I'm playing house with my 2 dogs. So I'm just going to cash in on the very small retirement I have and go through hike the AT finally. So that's really kind of how it happened for me. But yeah, the AT, PCT, and CDT were my first 3 backpacking trips. So I made a point to not go in between those. Like once I did the AT, I was like, all right, Triple Crown's gonna be the first 3.
That's insane. I guess I didn't realize that was the case. I kind of assumed that there were other little things that happened in between there, but wow.
Yeah.
Triple
I was
Crown right off
working
the bat.
like nonstop in between random jobs trying to, scrape up the funds to go do the next one. So there wasn't any time for going out anyway, but yeah.
Now you're notorious for living simply. That's kind of like
Yeah.
something that you talk about a lot. What does that mean? Like what do you mean when you say that? Because you talk about that a lot in your videos. What, like, for people that
Yeah.
are watching right now, maybe have not met you, heard of you before, or seen you for the first time?
Yeah, so I don't know. I just kind of live below my means, I don't have a fancy vehicle. I don't have a fancy house. I'm actually sitting in my boyfriend's house right now. I have an old crusty mill house, like that I've been in and out of since college, but it was my grandparents. They worked at the Opelika mill here in Opelika, Alabama forever. I don't know if anybody's ever seen the movie Norma Ray, but it was filmed there. But yeah, so I mean, I just come from simple folks, and that's kind of it's more, I guess, important to me to collect memories than stuff, So I've just never really cared a whole lot about stuff.
That's very wise.
That's
You're
awesome.
so young and you're taking this adventurous path. You started the YouTube channel like 7 years ago.
Yeah, it was 2015. Yeah, about April of 2015. So, yep, it'll be 8 years in April, and it was kind of an accident. So, and I oftentimes think back on like, man, I wish I had started this sooner because I'm 30. I'll be 37 in April. So, I'm on the 40 side of, 30,
Oh, you're
but
so young.
You're young to me. To me, you're young. I'm 49, so it's like,
no, you're not.
oh yeah, absolutely. And so like I look at you and I go, man, I wish I was 36.
Well,
Be
but
awesome.
when I was hiking the AT, one of my family members, Mountain Goat, he was 18 and he was still not graduated yet. Like
Wow.
after trail days, he took off a couple of weeks to go home. Well, I think he went home twice, once to go to prom and once to graduate. But he had finished his credits like in December, so he could be on trail. But yeah, so I was like, man, I wish I had done that when I was 18 instead of 28 or 29, however. Yeah. And so, everybody's always like, oh, I wish I had done this sooner or whatever. But the point is, I guess, if you're out there doing it, that's what matters. But yeah, so by happenstance, I kind of fell into this because I was going to start a blog. And this girl that I went to engineering school with was like, hey, have you thought about doing a vlog? And I said, well, what's a vlog? And she's like, like a video blog, like something on YouTube. And I was like, I don't really do the YouTube, So she was like, all right, well, I'm tired of, trying to learn how to edit by just messing around with videos of my dogs. So if you can send me some footage from the trail, I'll put a video out once a week for you. And I was like, okay, let's do this thing. So I guess what I'm saying is, even though I'm no longer an engineer, if I hadn't taken that path, I'd have never met her and I would have never done this because I probably wouldn't have even started a channel. So, it's sometimes a winding road, but you get to where you should be. Oh.
And I'm going to be honest with you, and I think Jeremiah is going to echo the same thing I'm about to say. I started training for Kilimanjaro in 2015. That was my first hike. Was Kilimanjaro?
What?
Yeah,
Okay.
that was my first big one. And
Same
so,
for my boyfriend. That blows my mind. That's crazy.
Yeah, and so I was watching your videos. There were you and like 3 or 4 other people I was watching their videos, but you were one of the people that I watched when I was training for that. And then my next hike was the Sheltowee Trace. And both of those, I mean, I watched your videos religiously, and I know Jeremiah, you've said the same thing. Am I right?
Well, you have no idea the impact that you've had over the last 7-8 years on the backpacking community. Like I was at Red River Gorge one time, and my wife and I met this other couple just randomly there, and we kind of crisscrossed paths multiple times. And, you know, at the end, I don't remember if I was wearing something or had a piece of gear, and she had asked me about it. And my friend Kristen, who I'm friends with today, we were like, she was like, "Oh, I seen that on YouTube. I seen that. There's this girl, her name's Dixie, Homemade Wanderlust." And I was like, "No way! I've seen all of her videos." And then like 2
Oh,
months
that's
later,
crazy.
yeah, you have such a huge impact. John's totally right because I mean, I've seen it in the comments over and over. Like Dixie's the reason I
Y'all are
started
making me
backpacking.
blush. I can't see the comments, by the way. Just I don't know where I'm supposed to see them at, but just FYI. But well, thank you. But I mean, I guess I'm like, well, if I can make mistakes and then tell people about like, hey, I made this mistake, then maybe they don't have to make the same mistake. You know, you can learn from somebody else instead of doing all the mess ups yourself. so
Yeah.
so good. I hope it has helped. I hope it has
Well, the
helped.
comment that just came up just now was Mutant Buzz Dixie. I'm a big fan. You're the reason I started backpacking. So I mean,
That's awesome.
let's see if we can get that to show up there. There we go.
Oh, man, that's so cool.
Yeah,
That
and
makes me happy because, you know, as cliche and cheesy as it sounds, I'm like, I really feel like if everybody could go out and spend like 3 weeks backpacking, I mean, you can even get the benefits in less time than that, right? But like, if you could do that, I really think that it would change the world in a big way. It's like people's perspective would be different, things that aren't important that everyone thinks is important. You know, I don't know. I feel like people would care more about the stuff in their little world that they can actually control instead of stuff out there that we can't control, that we gripe about and let control us so much, you know. But yeah, so that's awesome. And I think the more people get out there and spend time, you know, having to dig a hole and go to the bathroom outside, then the better the
yeah.
world would be. So
Well, and honestly, before you, there weren't a lot of female backpackers that were posting stuff online.
right, not putting
And
stuff out there, I
yeah,
guess. Yeah.
and so my little girl, you met her before we started tonight. You know, I told her today that Dixie was going to be on, and she freaked out. And so she got to meet you, you know, online today. And I think I told you she walked out and she pumped both of her arms because she got to
That's
meet you
so
tonight. You know, um, what do you feel any pressure with that at all? Like when people say you're the reason I backpack. I mean, that's a pretty heavy comment. Does that
yeah.
ever like how do you react to that?
I don't know. I mean, I really like, so I'll do speaking gigs sometimes and I get to meet people and tell them thank you because I mean, if people didn't watch the channel, I couldn't keep doing it. You know, it is my job now. But so I don't know. I don't take that for granted. I know that every time somebody sits down, they could watch a million things or they could be out backpacking themselves. Like you have very limited time. That's our most precious resource. And so the fact that somebody would spend a little crumb of that even watching my channel, you know, that means a lot to me, and that's why I'm able to do this. So I like being able to meet people and to say thank you for that. But sometimes it can be intimidating because, you know, on a video you're like a 2D thing, you know, but
Mhm.
in real life you're a person, you know, you're a human, and you've got to learn, I'm sure as y'all know, to have thick skin when you put yourself in the spotlight. You've got to learn to roll with the punches and stuff. But I think I've only had one time where somebody was like, kind of, they let on to me that they were a little disappointed in
What?
meeting me in real life. Yes. So this fella offered to give us a ride. We were on the CDT, and I always have to go home for somebody's graduation in my family. It was like when I was through hiking. So anyway, he gave us a ride to the airport, and it was kind of like arranged. And we had hiked like 26 miles to get to that spot that day by like 2 o'clock to get the ride. And I mean, we got in there and he gave us some snacks and some drinks. You know, we're in like the AC, and I'm just sitting there and I'm starting to like, we had talked and everything, but it was, I don't know, 3 or 4 hour drive. And I'm like, starting to kind of nod off. And he was like, well, I just thought you'd be a little bit more talkative. And I was like, I am so sorry.
Oh no.
I'm like, I'm a through hiker and I just got into a vehicle. It's like chill, you know, we got some music going. I ate something, like I'm exhausted. I'm so sorry, you know, but so yeah, it made me a little sad, you know, because I let him down, I guess, but that's just part of it. People have an idea of how you are, and I mean, I try to be my realest self, especially on the videos. I share the good and the bad and all of it. But again, we're all human. So,
I'll tell you, I don't know how well you know him, but Darwin, we've had him on, and we talked to him a little bit about this and how, like, once I've gotten a tiny taste. Okay, yeah, this is like a humble brag, I guess. So I have a YouTube channel as well that I
yes.
started a few years after yours, and Mr. Backpacking with Jason, sir, one of our buddies, calls it regionally famous. So, like, I live in Kentucky. So you bump into people in Kentucky just because you make videos of stuff that they want to check out because it's regional. And then they're like, well, I looked up XYZ region. Jeremiah's got a video on it. Let me see what it's about and blah, blah, blah. And they might bump into you out there. And he talked about how, like, on the Arizona trail, it's just so you could meet people over and over in one day, and it can really actually hinder your backpacking, not just the experience in general, but like getting miles down, because when somebody stops and talks to you, then like you said, time is your main resource,
Yeah.
and there is some pressure there to meet the expectation that they have of you, and at least take a few minutes, because they're kind enough, like you said earlier, to spend a little bit of their time that you're
Right.
competing for, consuming your content. So, like, I remember trail days, you were there and you had a booth set up, and I like bumped into you and you were like eating a snow cone. You were just trying to walk back to your booth and still meet people. And I think you're sharpening knives and that kind of stuff.
Yes,
And
my friend Patrick was there sharpening knives. Yeah.
yeah, so I was like, man, that's got to be tough. She's standing there all day. All these people want to meet her. There's pressure, and I don't know. I just feel like that can kind of consume you, and I don't know how
Yeah.
do you deal with it.
Trail days was that one was pretty intense and intense. Camping intense. Anyway, I couldn't help myself.
So funny.
Anyway, so yeah, it was but again, it's that thing where, especially at trail days, you're there, you set up a booth, like you are like, hey, I am open to speak to people, so that's part of it. But I lost my voice, that was crazy. And I remember at one point I was like, okay, I just need a break. And I went to sit in a tent, my tent behind the booth. And I was just like laying there, just, I hadn't eaten yet. I don't know. It was probably like 2 of the days I didn't eat until like 2 o'clock. And it was because somebody ran and got me something. I'm not, like I said, I'm not complaining because I was there for this purpose. Right. But I'm in the little tent just trying to chill out, and this lady literally comes and pops her head in my tent. It was like,
Oh,
Dixie, hey! And I was just like, oh my God. Where like my religion was tested a little bit. I was like, if I came
That's
and
great.
popped my head in your front door, you would probably not love it, that I didn't like knock first. So I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I get it. It's part of it. But on trail, I love it when people say hey. And a lot of times, especially if I'm alone, I'm I'm a people person. I like my alone time too. But so if I can run into somebody and have a conversation, it's pretty cool. But I guess the thing is, it's still a strange dynamic because to me, like, we're just both hikers. You know what I mean? We're just both. I just happen to record mine and put it out there. But like anybody could do that. Anybody could record what they're doing and put it out there too. So to me, I'm just like, no, we're both just hikers hanging out. Like, it's not like that. Just, yes, you know a little bit more about me than I know about you, but like, we both stink right now, so I guess
yeah.
that's the only thing to me that sometimes it's like, I don't feel special, so it's okay. Like we can just hang out and talk, it's not a thing. So anyway,
Well,
but
I know our podcast, one of the things that Jeremiah and I have said from the beginning is we want to be the podcast that the hiker who's out hiking like a 20-mile day in rain and 1 foot mud and just miserable, they can turn on our podcast and laugh for an hour and just kind of
yeah,
lift their spirits. That's kind of our goal. We're not that like hard-hitting topics kind of like podcast. We're our whole thing has always been let's make people smile. What would you say, like, if you were to think about your channel, like with what you do, what is your goal? What is it you're trying to accomplish when you're doing these videos?
That getting people out there, getting
Mhm.
people to get out there. And if they're not able to for some reason, then it's like, so the informational videos, of course, is, I want people to learn. I want them to see, like, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure this out. You have to cover your basics of what you need to live out in the woods, and the confidence that comes with that, and the things that, I mean, you go back to work Monday and you're like, whoa, I was like a wild animal this weekend, and none of these coworkers have any idea what this is all about, but there's something to that. There's some confidence in that. And so I guess just getting people to, like I said, shift their perspective and realize what's important in life and what's not, and get in touch with our roots as a human. But then the videos that are me out there, I guess, also trying to encourage folks like, hey, get out and have this as your own experience. But for the folks who can't for some reason, I love to try to find out, you tell somebody, hey, it's cold out here, I'm miserable, but like, I want to show them. I want to show them, how can I make them feel almost cold sitting on their couch. So that's, I guess, a different part of it. I guess I have two purposes to
Yeah.
try to bring the trail to them, and also to try to get them to get out on the trail.
Well, let me cut in real quick. We got a bunch of super chats right off the beginning here. I want to go ahead and get those out there so you guys can see those. MK Ultra Hiking and Gear Review, one of the funniest channels on
He's
YouTube.
hilarious.
John, Jeremiah, and Dixie, you three are the main reasons why I started the channel, so thank you.
Oh,
Thank
that's
you.
awesome.
That's awful nice. Delta Safari, Dixie, do you think hiking Alabama is underrated?
I mean, Alabama is called Alabama the Beautiful. But I do feel like it could have been like Montana the Beautiful. Like, I get it, we're not like Montana or, some other epic state, Colorado. But I do think that there are certainly some gems in Alabama, especially North Alabama. The Pinhoti Trail has a lot of pretty spots on it, especially around Cheaha Mountain.
Yeah.
But so I don't know that I'm not going to lie and say, oh yeah, it's one of the top destinations in, the 50 states or anything, but I certainly think there's some beautiful areas. And I was almost embarrassed, I had done the Triple Crown before I ever did the Pinhoti Trail. And I'm like, man, I should have spent more time in my home state. Like, I didn't even realize what we had right here. So I think it's probably prettier than people realize, but yeah, I wouldn't say it's like the top 10 states to hike in or anything.
Well, Cheaha Mountain surprised me. I got to hike that, and I was genuinely surprised. And Jeremiah got to hike in the Sipsey Wilderness, and
yeah, Sipsey's beautiful. It is.
I'm planning on going there this year.
Northeast Alabama. I mean, all of North Alabama is gorgeous, but yeah, right around here where I live, it's just the plains. Like, we got cows, so.
Fair enough. Carlson Adventure says, hey, Dixie, ran into you at Pictured Rocks last year in the parking lot. Thanks for taking time for a quick chat and pictures.
Yes, I remember that. That's another amazing trail that's short and that people can go knock out. You got to book it ahead of time, but yes.
It is beautiful up there. I got to do that in 21, and it was awesome.
It is.
Awesome. Jess is the coolest, according to RJ Hikes.
Hey, RJ, he's one of my patrons. RJ's the coolest.
That's awesome. Michael Sakowicz says, Shiba dog laughing slightly while blushing and covering his mouth with one arm.
I guess a Shiba Inu. I think that's a meme.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. He means a meme.
Okay. And then Tangent Trails says, Dixie, do you have plans to return to the San Juans and do the CDT red line you had to miss due to the 416 fire?
I would love to do that. And also, I have unfinished business in Glacier in Montana on the CDT for sure. So yeah, there's some of those things that are still on the list to fill in. It's like officially it's done, but it's like I still have unfinished business. Yeah.
That makes sense. And then finally, Lisa Williams says, hi, Dixie, John, and Jeremiah. Hi, Lisa.
Hey.
Hello, Lisa.
Yeah, that's another. Yeah, Lisa's awesome. She's another patron. Y'all have Patreon, right?
I'm just looking at getting started.
We're thinking about it. That was something actually we're talking about right now because we've had a lot of people ask how to support the channel, and we honestly don't know right now. So
yeah,
we probably need to figure that one out.
Yeah, y'all should. You can do like one extra little podcast a month or something. something valuable. I do one little thing that I do is like an outtakes video, a lot of my mess ups and stuff. So that gets compiled for the patrons once a month. So,
Oh,
yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so now it's my turn. Jeremiah, you're done. Just sit and chill for a little bit. Let's talk Kilimanjaro, because I was so excited when I saw you were doing Kilimanjaro, because Kilimanjaro is what got me started into backpacking. And it wasn't really a backpacking trip. It was kind of like a luxury backpacking trip. But
I mean,
man,
people say that, but it kicked my butt. Like,
oh, I agree. I mean, when you get to the, I tell people all the time that when I got to the top of that, I cried like a baby. Like,
same.
yeah.
On the way up, like I cried summit night. I cried basically when I get around 14,000, tears are gonna fall.
It was so funny, because when, I don't know what was the group you went through? What was the organization you used?
Peak Planet.
Peak Planet. Okay, I used Climb Kili.
Okay.
And they sent out this information packet, and in the packet it said, when you get to the top, some people feel so much emotion that they begin to cry. And I remember laughing at that, because I was like, why would you cry?
Yeah.
Because you got to the top of a mountain. It's the stupidest thing I ever heard. And I was part of a group that was raising money to build wells in Ethiopia. And so we all had to raise like $7,000 each to do this. And if we didn't, they were going to take it out of our bank accounts. So like, we had to sign this agreement that we are going to raise the money when we did this. And so I get to the top, and I that last mile sucks. Like,
oh yeah,
that last mile sucks. Like,
yep.
And I don't know what it was like your day. I know it was cold, but the day I was up there, it was 30-mile-an-hour winds, -30 wind chill. And I'm hiking this mile, and everything's a false peak. Everything's a false peak. And I remember I saw the sign, and when I saw the sign, all the names of people started popping into my head that had supported me. And by the time I got to that like final step across where you're on the peak, I fell apart. It was like, it was one of those moments. Yeah. And so when I'm watching your video, like everything you were going through, I remember like the diamox and the tingly fingers and the, all the things. My question for you is, what was the biggest takeaway from Kilimanjaro? Like, what was the thing that you'll take away from that, and it just will stick with you?
Honestly, the porters. I mean, they completely blew me away, because, I knew they were there doing their jobs or whatever, but like, you can't, either they're really good actors or they actually care about the people because it was strange to be so tended to. I don't know if you felt that way, but like I would
honestly, I didn't know any better.
Well, that's true.
It's like the first trip I'd ever done. I was like, man, if this is backpacking, this is the easiest thing you'll ever do in your whole life.
Well, I mean, I'm so used to there's a monkey, I want to capture it, then I just throw my trekking poles down, because you can try to prop them up and they're gonna fall down anyway. So I just throw them down. And but then somebody's like running to pick them up, so then I'm feeling guilty about throwing my trekking poles down, because then somebody's running to pick them up, or it's just I never had been so fussed over, and so it was a little weird at first to kind of get used to that. But then they're strong. Like, you think you're tough. Holy crap. I saw some going down to get water in flip-flops, and carrying a bucket on their head with water. I'm just like,
and it's like 35 degrees out, and they're doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it just blew my mind how strong they were, how determined they were, and then how encouraging they were, especially on summit night. I was like crying, like walking, and just like, nobody else knew I was crying, but I was crying. And it was like, somehow they telepathically knew, oh, the group's ready for some encouragement, and then they're Jumbo Buana, like singing. And I'm like, man, I really don't want to hear this song right now, but also I needed this song right now.
I need this song. Yeah.
Just all of that stuff. And I still have that song stuck in my head. I don't know how long it takes for it to go away, but like those songs are there. But yeah, so I guess that's my big takeaway is just that experience and seeing them, and then how excited they were when we announced the tips, which that was a weird dynamic too, like you're announcing to them the tips that they've received on this trip or whatever, but they, it's like this celebration, and they were like falling down because we just went. They give you the range, like, okay, this porter typically makes $70 to $100 or whatever, and so we just went with everybody the highest end of the range because everybody was so awesome to us, and it's something you decide as a group, for those of y'all who don't know. But so I mean, we were announcing it because they were just so blown away that all of us had gone with the top, that they were like falling down and stuff. So I was excited and happy for them, but also it made me sad, because it's so impoverished. And so anyway, it was just the porters. The porters will always stick with me, for
Well,
sure.
and I cheated on the porters. Not cheated on the porters. I cheated on one of my tips. So before I went on that trip, I had a muscle that got caught under my scapula, under my shoulder blade.
Oh my God.
And it had happened training for Kilimanjaro. I was doing a stair climber every day. And because that's all you're doing. You're literally climbing up the entire time.
Yeah.
There's no you have occasional downs, but you're mostly just going up the whole time.
Right.
And so I trained that way, and I kept my hands on the rails, I guess, on the stair climber. And apparently, because I was doing it for an hour at a time, by the end, that muscle got tense and popped itself up under my scapula. And I went and got like deep tissue massages and everything. And they could not get that thing out. And so when I first got on Kilimanjaro, I was kind of struggling with that. Well, I don't know which night it was. It just popped back out and it felt great.
Oh, yeah.
Until summit night. And it kicked back up under there again.
No.
And so one of the porters, he saw me and he could tell I was in pain.
Yeah.
He could just tell. He looked at me and goes, "Are you going to be okay?" I was like, "I'll make it." He goes, "That's not what I asked." He goes, "That's not what I asked." I said, "Are you okay?" I said, "Man, I'll be all right." He takes my backpack from me, puts it on his back and says, "I will carry this for you." And he carried my backpack for me, knowing how much pain I was in and knowing that I wanted to get to the top. And there were other things that happened and this is your interview, so we're not going to talk about it, but I'm with you on the porters. I'm with you on the porters. They were awesome.
Yeah,
he ended up with a $200 tip all by himself because
awesome.
Because there was no chance. I wasn't gonna I might have made it, but it would have been a lot more miserable.
Yeah.
And he made it so much easier.
And like he didn't have to.
Yeah. No, he didn't have to.
Yeah, but he wanted to. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like, and I mean, okay, somebody, devil's advocate, could say, well, he knew that maybe he'd get a tip for it. Like, okay, maybe so, but that's also a gamble to tote somebody else's pack all the way up to the top. I don't know. It's just, they want to do whatever they have to make sure that you're successful within, reason, like not to where you're going to be a risk and die up there or something, but like otherwise, and I saw a woman being ran down the mountain on a porter's back. Like he was just running, and she was like passed out on his back. But, I mean, they don't have to do that. They could be like, "Oh, sorry, lady, RIP," but here he's like frantically trying to get down the mountain. Like you can't fake that. You cannot fake that. So
no, you can't. You're right. And let's be honest, how awesome was it every morning when they showed up with that tray with coffee and hot chocolate? I had a redneck mocha every morning. It was awesome. The hot chocolate coffee, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
And they knew your name. So I had forked out a little extra because I wanted a tent to myself. Yeah. I snore really bad and I know it and I didn't want to ruin anybody else's trip.
Of you.
Yeah. So I got my own tent and every morning I'd hear zip and I hear Johnny, and they'd bring in the stuff and it was just awesome. And so yeah, the porters, absolutely incredible. Absolutely.
I recorded one of them saying good morning. And so I said I was going to set that as my alarm on my phone so that I could wake up to good morning. I love it. The coffee in the morning was awesome.
I was going to tell you, I watched the video and I love the homage at the end of the porters. Was that your idea to put it in the video? I didn't know if you had an editor that helps you or what.
So I do have somebody that edits for me because if we're being honest, like if I had to edit, I would take my face out. Like I don't like, you don't like hearing your voice. I don't like seeing my face, so I would just cut it all out. So thankfully, yes, I have a dude that's been editing for me since sometime after the AT. But anyhow, I let him, he has creative control, I say that I capture the colors and then he paints the masterpiece. But of course, if I want something in there, but he reads my mind pretty much now. Yeah. And so I did this thing where I asked all of them like, "Hey, can I take a picture of you?" And I guess it was kind of sneaky, but I got a video clip instead of a picture.
Oh, you
And so
smart
I
man.
and so I had the idea because once, I fell in love with them, like I knew that I was definitely going to talk about them, and I figured, that would probably be how the video would end. And um, so I had that idea, like, well, I have to have them, I have to capture them, but I wanted to capture them smiling, And if you tell somebody, I'm going to get a video clip of you smiling, like as soon as somebody thinks they're being videoed, they're super awkward,
Yep.
I am, me included. Like I can be on this side of the camera, don't point it at me though. But anyhow, so I just asked them, can I take your picture? And they said yes. And so I was like, all right, 1, 2, 3, smile, so I'd get them smiling. And
That's awesome.
It was a
so
good
yeah,
touch. You did
yeah.
well with that. I also
Thank
had you're welcome. I also had another question about Kilimanjaro. So I noticed them monitoring your oxygen levels, and I had
Yeah.
never seen that before. And then you had like a little finger monitor too. Was that something that you brought just to keep up with and check on yourself versus do they make you leave if they think that your levels are getting too low?
So that's a great question. I did bring a pulse oximeter just because I wanted to do it at the top. I wanted to see how low my oxygen could be, and I'm like, if it's ever going to be low, it's going to be up there. But
Yeah.
just the rush of everything, I forgot all about checking it up top. But I did check it when I got back to base camp, and it was in the 80s, which that was the lowest I had ever seen it. But anyway, no, they do health checks every night or every evening around dinner time. I assume your group was the same way. Did they do health checks on you, John?
Actually, no.
They didn't.
We
Oh,
didn't. Yeah, when you did that, I was like, wow, that's new. I didn't
yeah, and
they didn't do that with
maybe
us.
maybe all groups don't do it. I don't know, but they did. That was their thing. But they told us because my heart rate was the highest of everybody's in the group. Like it was above 100 even resting. It was like 107 or 110, But then when I was up and walking around camp, it was in the 120s, and then during the day it was like 150s, 160s. So I was a little stressed about that. Those are weird numbers for me, but I felt fine, and that's what they kept saying. It's more in how you feel and less about the numbers. So they would ask you, how are you feeling on a scale of 1 to 10? What color is your urine? How much water have you drank today? Are you taking
Yeah.
Diamox? Yada yada. Are you having bowel movements? So they check everything. But they said, they've seen people with oxygen levels that are pretty low, but if they feel good, it's fine. And they've also seen people whose numbers are in the complete normal range, but they feel terrible and they have to leave. So yeah, I was a little worried with the numbers being high. They were going to be like, nope, you can't summit, but thankfully that's not the case. So
Now you're somebody who's hiked some high mile days, right? Like
yes,
upper 20s. Have you hiked in the 30s and 40s or anything like that on
my
days? Or
big day was on the PCT, but it was Hat Rim Creek area, so it was flat.
okay,
I planned well for it, but I wanted to do a 24-hour challenge just to see like how much I could do.
I remember
And
that.
so yeah, it was like 61 point something mile, or no, yeah, like 61 miles to the road from where we started. And I didn't think I'd get all that, but then I did.
Yeah.
And so I just went up to 62 and then turned around and came back to the road. But yeah, so 62 was my biggest day. But like a normal day, upper 20s is normal.
So how awkward was it with the pole slow hiking? Like seriously, I mean, all the hiking I did training for that. They said like everything they said is you need to be about a 15-minute mile on average if you can. And that was
Yeah.
like a really smart place to be at to do Kilimanjaro. And so that's what I pushed for the whole time. Then I get on trail and they're like, "You're hiking too fast. Slow down."
Yeah.
I mean, what
But
was
I
that
mean,
like when they did that?
it would, yeah, there were times where it was a little aggravating, or even it was just aggravating to hear it. I'm like, can we
Yeah.
not say it anymore? But honestly, on summit day, I was like, yes, pole, because if you go any faster, I'm gonna fall over. But we were also just recovering from COVID, like going up there. So it was like COVID, 5 days, I think is the recommended time now. And we were traveling on like the 7th day or something, you know what I mean? So it was I'm like, really, of all times to get it, but at least we were still able to go. But then
Yeah.
to be probably body still recovering. So I wish I had known what it was like to do it not recovering. But, you know, so it was tough. And I was really glad for Pole Pole on the way up that last day. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's still awkward though, because it's like, okay, almost like the wedding pace, you know, like one step, feet
Yeah.
together, one step, feet together.
Yeah. I show people videos of us walking and they're just like, "Did you really hike that slow?" And it's like,
But you
"Yeah.
can't breathe.
Yeah."
So
I had one of the porters tell me that where the bathroom was. He goes, "Here, follow me, I'll show you." And he just takes off running. And so not thinking, I went after him and I'm jogging at 16,000 feet.
yep.
And we get to the bathroom and I almost can't like get in. I'm about to black out because I can't breathe anymore. And so like the whole pole thing, I was like, "Oh, this is stupid. We're walking so slow." And then
Yeah.
that day I was like, "Okay, I'm good. Pole the rest of the way.
Yep.
I'm not arguing. I'm not complaining.
When you
Nothing."
push it, you see like, okay, yep, this is why you said that. Yeah, for sure.
Elevation's everything. We got some more super chats in here.
All right.
You're gonna love this one. Are the TJR saying War Eagle?
Yay, War Eagle.
Oh.
And then Corey, I'm not even gonna try and pronounce your name, Corey, because I don't want to butcher it. But it says Dixie is the reason so many of us have hit the trail.
Yep. Hey, Corey.
And then
That's
Amy
awesome.
Napier, this is awesome. Dixie, thanks for everything. My son has autism, and your videos help him understand our backpacking trips and reduce any anxieties.
Oh my gosh, that is awesome. And that's awesome that y'all are getting him out there for sure.
Absolutely.
I can imagine.
Absolutely. Well, I know Jeremiah has some questions for you because he's got a hike
Yeah.
coming up. And
Yeah.
I told him, he said he had to get out of my way during Kilimanjaro. But now, Jeremiah, the floor is back to yours again. Ask your questions.
Well, I mentioned that you have backpacked abroad some, Iceland, and
Which the volcano footage was awesome.
yes,
Thank you. Yeah, that was bucket list item for sure. That was crazy.
well, you also did the Camino de Santiago, and for people that don't know, it's basically a pilgrimage across Spain. And
Yes.
my wife and I, we actually had saw your videos, and we're like, man, that would be awesome because she has backpacked with me some here and there, and she's not really super into the camping style backpacking, but she'll still go because she loves me. And she said, well, we watched Dixie's videos and it looked like there was wine. It looks like there was good food. It looked like there was a shower, which is totally different than our experiences backpacking through the backcountry in the US. So we decided, like, this has been a few years ago now, to do it. And then COVID hit. And so we had to put the plans
Yes.
on hold. So we literally were just like, well, looks like it's going to be a while. Well, I am a high school math teacher, and my wife is a middle school math teacher. So we have summers off, and we decided, well, this summer, let's go ahead and try doing it. So,
That's
our
awesome.
yeah, I'm super excited. I booked our flights. We're planning to fly into Paris and maybe spend a few nights there. So, I think that we will start and do the French way. And I was wondering, first of all, if there's one big piece of advice for people that are interested in doing this trail, but they're from the US, what would you kind of give them?
Well, I would say, first of all, good thing I think that you're going into Paris because like might as well and go see some of that stuff. That's what my sister and I did. And my sister's the same way. She's not interested in going to the bathroom in the woods. And I basically conned her into doing it because I told her there was the wine fountain. And so she was like definitely down for that. And at the time she wasn't 21. So here in the US, she couldn't legally have alcohol, but there she could. So anyway, she was really excited for all of that. But I mean, when I was doing the research, being in the Facebook groups helped, just seeing people, what questions they had and everything. I would say when you're in France and when you're in Spain, try to know some of the basic language. I mean, obviously, you're not going to be fluent if you're not already, but just knowing some of the basic words and at least trying helps. But sometimes, having Google Translate is very useful. There are times where it can also embarrass you, because it might mean the wrong thing from what you think it does. But yeah, so I guess that's really how I first started, was joining the Facebook groups, and just trying to read blogs and stuff like that. I have videos out there, with
Yeah, you
information.
got a whole library that basically documents you and your sister's trip, where you all actually kept going. You got to the end of the French Way, right? And then you're like, well, let's
Yes.
see the sea.
Yeah, we went to Santiago, and then yeah, a lot of people continue to the coast. You don't have to, and actually I can't remember, um to get your certificate, you only have to do like a certain piece of the end of it. Like you don't even have to start at, the French, or the border of Spain and France. You don't have to start there. If you do, like, what is it, like the last 100 kilometers or something, I don't
Yeah.
remember. You get like the same certificate, but of course we wanted to do all of it. But yeah, so I think continuing on and being able to say that you walk the whole distance of Spain is cool. So we wanted to be able
Yeah, that's
to
pretty
brag on
awesome.
that.
Well, what
You
did your
walked
sister
across an entire country. That's
Yeah.
impressive. Yeah.
what did your sister think about sleeping in the hostels?
She was okay with that. She handled the bathrooms better than I did. Like, man, I have a thing with certain noises, like slurping and like, ugh. I mean, everyone has their thing, but yes, it's so bad. It's so bad. Like, my when I know I'm gonna be with a group of folks eating spaghetti or soup or like coffee, slurping. Oh my gosh,
You
it's
just cringe.
yes, it's like I feel anger, but I'm working on it because I understand that it's my problem and not anybody else's. So
You're
like,
turning green as we sit here. It's kind of fun to
yes, it's
watch.
but so eating is one thing, but like hearing everybody's bathroom noises, like brushing their teeth, like everybody's gag reflexes, and the food that didn't agree with their stomachs, and some of these bathrooms are like men and women together in Europe, which you just deal with it, it is what it is. But just some mild cultural differences, that were interesting. But so yeah, she handled all of that better than I did. But I think the worst part, and I don't mean to scare you off, because it's an experience. It's just like with backpacking, there are good and bad things, and with this, there are too.
Embrace the
So
suck. Embrace the
embrace
suck.
the suck, and like getting
Yep.
to meet people. It was really cool to sit down at a dinner table and to have so many people from different countries. In on trails in the U.S., you might run into a few people here and there that are from other countries on through hikes, but on that trail, the majority of the people were not from the U.S. So it was really cool to sit around, and I think we had to tell a joke. I think it was told in like 3 different languages around a table, because like this person might speak English and French, and this one speaks French and German. So it was like the joke got translated multiple times, and then finally we all had a big laugh. So some of that was really neat to me. But the bed bugs at the hostels are probably
Mm.
That's what I wanted to ask you about. I'd heard rumors about the bed bugs.
Yeah,
You
let's
want to
hear
share
it.
a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. We got bed bugs. My sister got the worst of it. Um, she, I guess they were like with her, they didn't just like bite her in the bed and then stay. So we were going down the trail and she had some bites, but there were like more bites coming throughout the day while we were walking.
Man,
So is
So
that
I feel,
obvious? I've never had bed bugs, so
they're
I didn't know
miserable.
what the symptoms.
They're
yeah, I
miserable.
hadn't either. But yeah, I mean, you're like, it's like flea bites or something, you just have these bites that are itchy,
I
and
compare it to like chiggers.
yeah,
Have you ever dealt
that's,
with chiggers before?
yeah, that is
Yeah.
probably more appropriate. Yeah, more comparable. But yeah, that's not fun. And so I only had a couple, but she had like the notorious like 3 bites in a row kind of thing.
Mm.
And but yeah, they just kept multiplying during the day. So I was like, we have to handle this. Like, we can't go to another albergue, but what do? Now you have bed bugs, you stayed somewhere that has bed bugs. You have to have somewhere to sleep for the night. But if you go in a place and you're like, oh, by the way, I have bed bugs, like, they're gonna be like, and you can keep moving. So
Yeah.
I'm like, they really should create these little pop-up booths where like they have a shower, they do your laundry and like steam your gear or something, and then let you continue on about your day. Because if they had that stuff, we'd have got one. But so what we did is we got a private room at it was like an actual town that had a hotel, thankfully, and we stopped by a clothing store and got a change of clothes and tied them up. We didn't try them on, we tied them up in the plastic bag we purchased them in, and we went to the hotel room. We put our packs in the bathtub. Anything that was like cloth or could be hosed down. Thankfully, this water was so hot that it would like burn you coming out of the faucet. And we just like hosed everything down, and the heat kills them. So we could see them like floating on the top of the water. We showered, put on the clean clothes, so we just tried to do the best we could. And we put anything that could be infected with them in our pack liners, and then took it to a laundromat the next day and washed and dried everything. So I feel like we did the best that we could to try to not spread it. And that's just it's all you really can do. So but they have spray at pharmacies, but mixed reviews on that. So I would just say everything that you can steam or heat somehow, do that. But hopefully you won't get them, but you could.
How did you avoid them the rest of the trip? I mean, I know it's kind of blind luck. You might stay at a albergue that has them, and then that's just kind of the bite. But
I would say, at first we were real good about checking the mattresses, and a lot of the mattresses will even have like a little rubber covering type thing so that they don't infest. But I would say check all of the mattresses, because it could be a really clean place, and we went and stayed somewhere else, somebody else could too, and not know they have it or not know how to handle it, or, whatever. So I would say check the mattresses for sure.
I got you.
We got a little lax.
John, you got other super chats you need to hit us with here?
We don't just have super. I'm going to read the super chats first, but then I'm going to read some of the comments, because there have been some fantastic comments going on in here. First off, Stanley Tam said, "What mask did you use to train for the hike? Did you do an elevation mask when you trained? Because I know I did."
I did. I started doing that, and then I was like, is this actually doing something? And so I read the articles, because honestly I was even trying to like work out with it on and stuff, and I started reading, and you'd have to look it up. I can't remember the exact science behind it, but basically what I read is it might make your lungs stronger, but it doesn't actually change the way that you would handle being at higher elevations. So anyway, I read that it was not going to help that much, so I quit using it. But I did read that those tents, like hypoxico tents, the tents that you could put around your bed, if you're somebody who actually gets like 8 hours of sleep at night, then
wow,
you could.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, it's like this, right? It's
right.
Like this little generator that actually reduces the amount of oxygen in the tent. So while you're sleeping, you're, acclimating. So, yeah. But I got a mask from Academy, but I read that maybe it doesn't do what you think it does. But if nothing else, it might help you with the feeling of not being able to get enough. So.
It got the police called on me.
I
was hiking through my neighborhood, and I had my backpack on, fully loaded, was wearing the mask, and was just walking through my neighborhood, just trying to, training. And a bunch of families called the police, said there's this weird man with a backpack and a strange mask on walking through our neighborhood. And so the police came up, and I had to explain what was going on. And
did you leave the mask on when you were explaining?
No, I did take the mask off, but the guy, there's blue lights behind me, and I'm going, and I had headphones in, so I couldn't hear anything. So I just noticed there's like a flash of light behind me. Like, what is going on? I turn on, there's a cop like following me. And houses had been calling, saying there's a strange man walking around the neighborhood in a weird mask. And so I had to explain to them what it was. And then they explained to the families. Then people started coming out and asking me questions about Kilimanjaro. So that was fun.
You're like, no, you called the law on me.
Yeah,
no.
I hate every one of you. So Jose says Shiba dog shaking his hips, saying thank you.
Oh, another Shiba Inu.
So, and then That's great. Rusty then says, "Thank you, Dixie, for all the great videos. They helped me during COVID, especially, and were helpful when I didn't know how to get into backpacking."
Awesome.
So that's
Awesome.
really cool. And then,
Yeah, so I was living in Colorado, and all the folks there come out of the womb like knowing how to rock climb. But I came from Alabama, and didn't get into that stuff. So that was one thing that when I started the channel, I was like, I want people to know that this is something they can do tomorrow. Like,
yep,
you don't have to be an expert or anything. Like, you can literally get the things you need and go outside and do this tomorrow. It's not like that, because it was so hard to get into a crowd of folks out there, because if you weren't skiing since you were 2 years old, then they didn't have time for you.
yep. And then this is great. Bed bugs are comparable to Satan as an organism.
Oh my God.
And then the conversation about Jeremiah's hair kicks in. So how does Jeremiah fit headphones under his hair?
Hey, that's great hair. That's great hair.
And
It makes me think of George Clooney, in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? How's my hair?
There it is.
Oh.
That pomade.
It's always the people that are lacking in the hair that makes fun of my hair, I will say.
Oh,
Shots fired.
Oh man, he doesn't have a forehead either. He has like 5 head like me. So Everyday Backpacker says, review the headphones are attached to the hair.
Oh yeah.
They're attached to the hair. To which MK Ultra responded with, Jeremiah's hair just called me and tried to get me to invest in Goldman Sachs. So
oh, that's funny.
Oh, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, Dixie. You have to put up with this stuff with us.
No, I love hanging out with y'all. This is great. Y'all let me come back sometime. I do want to. I would love to.
Oh, we're gonna have to.
We're
We're gonna have to.
My friends, like I've known you for a while now.
Well, yeah, we're best friends. Yeah, we're gonna invite you over for Christmas this year. It's gonna be great.
Okay,
it's gonna be fantastic. So
I'll bring the corn casserole.
Ooh.
All right.
Okay,
it's got jalapenos in it. It's like shoe peg corn. It's not like regular yellow corn. Nobody wants that. It's like shoe peg corn, cream cheese, jalapenos. Just saying, it's
we'll
good.
throw in some bourbon.
I may have to bring in some bourbon balls from Kentucky.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay.
There we go. My wife's from Eastern Kentucky. She'll bring the ham. So we were ready to go, man. It's gonna be awesome.
Perfect.
Now, we do need to ask you a certain question, and I warned you about this in advance, which you took. You were like, I'm not even worried about this. But Dixie, everybody's wanting to know, and it's been in the comments the whole entire hour. When is Dixie going to answer the question? Somebody actually put this on your community page on YouTube, that you're going to have to answer the question.
Yes.
And the question is, do you have a good poop story?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what comprises good, but yes, I have some stories. But I guess can I cheat and just share like 3 little tidbits of things that happen or that I find interesting?
We're not going to tell you no. So yeah, do whatever you want.
All right. So first of all, one of the most interesting things to me, situations in the woods, is like you dig the hole, you go, and then before you even have time to wipe, one of those big dung beetles is like, brrr, like a helicopter coming in and just like digs in. So I don't know if that's happened to anybody else, but that's always made me crack up. Also, one time I went to the bathroom. This was in Sipsey. And I noticed like I had something on my shoes. I don't know how I managed it, but I doo-dooed on my shoelaces, and it was like getting on other stuff. So that's pretty disgusting. And then the last one, and probably the most disgusting one, is I set my pack at a campsite on the PCT in somebody else's crap, and I didn't realize until the next morning I had put my pack on, and it was like all in my hip belt, like in the clip on my hands, and yeah, that's pretty terrible. So
if you're listening right now, please go to the YouTube video and look at mine and Jeremiah's faces from that story.
So disgusting.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty gross. I hope whoever that was has diarrhea today. Like, I hope. I hope everybody in the world had a good day except for that person who surfaced right in the campsite outside my tent where I put it all over my hands and couldn't wash my hands. So, yeah.
Well, you mentioned Skirka. You mentioned Skirka before the show, and he had set his tent up in somebody else's poop. Some people, for some reason, they'll go in these convenient spots, but you don't need to go where other people are going to set a tent up or take a
Yes.
bite.
And
Yeah,
I
there's
understand like things happen sometimes, emergencies, but just clean up after yourself. Like just clean it up so that I don't have to wear it, or nobody else. Like, oh,
I have this campsite at the Red River Gorge here in Kentucky. There's the Gray's Arch parking lot, and there's a campsite, just this nice little campsite that's right near the parking lot. So if I get there late at night, I can just hike 100 yards and there's a campsite. And I was all excited. I got there one night. It was dark. I went to set up, and right under where I was going to hang my hammock, it's a big old pile of human feces just sitting there, and the toilet paper sitting next to it. And I'm thinking to myself, here, like,
Yeah,
you
there's a
couldn't have, like,
bathroom 100 yards away. At
yeah,
the
there's
parking lot.
literally a toilet here. Like, there's pit toilets here. Why aren't you using those? And yeah, I don't understand it. I don't think I'll ever get
yeah,
it.
yeah.
It's confusing.
I don't, yeah, I mean, and aren't you afraid somebody's going to see you just right there in the open like that,
Okay,
Yeah.
Dixie, I have to tell you something, though. The first time I ever had to poop on trail, I was hiking the Sheltowee Trace,
Okay.
and I was hiking on a dirt road. And there were fences on either side of the road, and you couldn't go to either one of those places because they were private property.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm on a dirt road, and I had to go, and there was no stopping. So
Yeah.
I just squatted over a ditch and prayed nobody came, because that's all I had. And I was like, if anybody comes, they're going to see the worst thing they've ever seen in their entire life. And
A man with a tail.
it's just, there it is. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it is what it is sometimes, but in those
No,
situations, that's not the case.
the Florida Trail there, I was on a long road walk and that happened. But I mean, there was like a shrub type thing that I could like try to at least, have the illusion of being hidden, because it's like, well, if I can't see you, then you can't see me, So
Well,
it
I
does
felt
happen.
I
It does
felt
happen.
sorry for the ladies on Kilimanjaro, because they had to go wait till there was a big enough rock they could go hide, because
Yeah.
there's no place to hide for most of that
No,
hike.
no, there's really not. And oh my gosh, there are a lot of surface dumps out there.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
are, because there's
there are a
really
lot.
nothing else you can do because it's rock.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I mean, they
yeah,
don't even try to put a rock on it or anything though, but
no.
While we're talking about poop, let's address a couple pieces of technology. I'm curious to get Dixie's take on here.
okay.
One is a bidet. You have any experience with the bidet?
I don't, but I'm going to, because if for no other reason, so I can like give right here, like give my opinion on it, because I've
Sure.
never used one on trail.
Well, you're missing out. I would
Yeah.
highly encourage you to use one.
Which
It is
one do you use?
I use the pocket bidet. Some
Okay.
subscriber sent it to me a long time ago, and it's basically just rubber. Like you can't break it or anything. And it just sticks in the top of your water bottle. And if you really want to be comfortable, what you can do is
Here it
heat you up
is.
some
Just get
water at
ready,
the end
Dixie. I'm
of
so
the day.
sorry in advance.
No,
I'm
go
sorry
for
in
it. Go
advance,
for
because here
it.
it comes.
You heat you up some water in advance, and that way you can take your little bath if you want to, wash
Yeah.
off at the end of the day. And if you got to drop a deuce, you'll have warm water to pour into your bottle to use with your pocket bidet.
So you
But
don't have
not
quite
too,
the
not
shock
too.
factor of the cold water. Yeah.
Yeah, the cold water is terrible. I'm pretty sure I've gotten frostbite before from the cold water.
On your
So,
butthole.
yes, it is terrible. It's
It's the
terrible.
worst
That's
possible place to
hilarious.
get frostbite.
I
I
know.
thought you were going a different direction with that, Jeremiah, but I think you're still going to go where I think you're going.
Are you ready for the second piece of
Yes,
technology?
talk to her about the second piece of technology. Here it comes. It's
I feel
every
like
guest. I'm sorry. I
Oh,
apologize.
what?
let's hear it.
We haven't talked about this in a hot minute, John. It's
That's
been a
true.
while.
You're right.
A
You're right.
hot
You're
minute,
right.
not a cold minute. A hot minute.
Yes, a hot minute.
Well, warm water. Yeah.
Yeah, warm water minute. It is the poop hammock. Have you seen these?
Poop hammock?
By your reaction, I'm guessing no.
No, I haven't. I'm intrigued though. I'm intrigued. Let's hear it.
So I'll give you the short of it. I won't take too long here. I met this guy at this hammock meetup in Michigan, and he also worked
Hammock
at
meetup.
Yeah, actually John went to it too, and
Yeah,
Dan Becker.
yeah.
There was a bunch of us that went. And UGQ.
That's awesome.
Have you heard of UGQ?
Yes.
Undergrad quilts. Okay, so they were kind of setting up a booth and stuff there too. And this guy worked with them as well. So we had a mutual friend, and he was like, "Dude, let me hook you up with this. I I work with UGQ, and so he sews all day in these quilts and stuff, and he's an avid backpacker, of course. So he's like, I got this idea. You seen the hammock chairs? Yeah, I've seen the hammock chairs. You need trees that are shoulder width apart or a little more. And you can set your little butt hammock up. He's like, well, I have one that has a hole in the middle, and then I've sewn a rim around it so you can put it up. And look, Jeremy, all things outdoors. Just don't ask Jeremiah to demo it.
Oh my gosh.
I haven't demoed it for anyone, but I did use it on the last trip I was with him. But anyway, yeah, that's basically it. It is the Porta Privy, I think, is the website if you want to check one out, if he's still making them. But
I hate to admit this, but it is extremely comfortable. I'm just
I
going to be
was
honest.
I was just thinking that. I'm like, okay, that actually.
You don't get that like thigh burn. Like if you know it's early in the morning, you're not quite awake yet, you're trying to hang onto a tree or something, and you just kind of sit back and chill, and maybe got your phone out and you're reading the news or something, you know. And
and I'm just thinking, you know, a lot of times for me it hits like right in the middle of breakfast, so you could just chill there and eat your breakfast and just never even have to, you know, miss a beat. Like,
yeah, you
just get it all done at one time. It's perfect.
Yeah.
I tell you, my wife loves it because you can like set up an area that she can just go pee at any time, and she's basically got a toilet seat out there. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, I was curious if you had heard of that or had.
No, I haven't, but that's I mean, that sounds great. You know, how much does it weigh?
I don't know. How much does it weigh, John?
I'm trying to figure out. I've got one hanging back here somewhere.
Pretty small. It's
4 or 5 ounces, maybe. Is it more than that?
It's got to be less than that. The hardware is like these. They're like turtle. I don't know. There's so many different things you can do with hammock to like suspend them, but it's some kind of turtle rig where you just stick one little knot loop through. Very simple. I'll reach out to Thomas and see if he can send you one if you want to try it out. If you still.
I mean, if you send me the link, then I'll happily get one and try it. I'm intrigued now, and I'm like, well, if I can tote all this other heavy stuff, then I could tote that. Just try it at least one time. If you have that and a bidet, now that's luxury.
Yes, but you got to be careful with the sprinkle of the bidet and the fabric of the seat. You don't want to cross-contaminate.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you got to keep it hygienic out there.
Yeah.
So,
so what do you wash your hands with, like, after you bidet?
I usually wait till after I eat. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Okay.
A little bit of hand sanitizer. No, I like to take it's Pika Outdoors, I think, is who I got it through. It's just a powdered soap, and it only takes a little bit. But
so do you like? I'm just gonna get down in it.
Go ahead.
Do you wipe your booty hole with your hand, or like you just squirt and use a dab of toilet paper? Like, I need to know the details here.
Okay, well, I won't demo it, but I'll walk you through it.
Okay.
So
appreciate the non-demo. That's awful nice of you.
That's not family friendly.
Step 1, what you really want is water the same temperature as whatever the water hits. That's going to be the most comfortable. So if it's your first time with the bidet,
it's science.
Do that. Yes. And basically, as soon as you get done with your business, you don't hit it with any toilet paper yet. This is going to reduce your toilet paper consumption by 80% because if I'm at the house, then I will use a full 700 milliliter bottle and clean all that up. Then you can just either dab dry or wipe dry with the toilet paper. I would suggest maybe 4 to 6 sheets, and then you're done. Everything's already clean before you ever walk.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, it's science.
It's science.
He's a high school teacher.
I'm just thinking the same temperature. That's kind of like one of those deprivation tank things.
Yes.
So, yeah.
That's the idea. You turn on your sink. I'll turn on the sink water at the house. I use this all the time at the house. I'm in the market right now. We talked
the backpacking one.
I use the backpacking one still every day at the house because you can buy on Amazon for like $5, but you can get a real bidet. We looked it up on air.
Oh, we did like a couple weeks ago or last week or something like that.
Yeah, because you can get one installed on your toilet, like as the built-in seat.
Right.
But I'm not. I can't afford it yet. I can't afford a $300 toilet seat. So I use the $5 pocket bidet. You turn on your sink water at your house, stick your hand under it, wait till it warms up, turn it to a nice warm temperature, fill that bottle up, and plop the bidet in. It's got like consecutive O-rings, so it cannot leak. You can turn it upside down, you're good to go.
That's awesome.
John, why are you laughing,
Yeah,
John?
I'm
She asked
down.
for
I
it.
don't know, for some reason the phrase consecutive O-rings for some reason made me laugh. It's probably stupid and I don't care, but you said it and I couldn't help but laugh at it. So
Well, this
So
is
how
not
much water on
unsolicited.
trail do you use?
Well, if you're camping near a water source, then I would say use all that you would need.
Right. But
I
like
still,
Arizona Trail, for example, like long water carries. Are you still carrying the bidet, or do you just like, I'll just deal with baby wipes or something?
yeah, if I'm dry camping, I'll probably try to stick with baby wipes because I take like dude wipes or whatever with me on trail. But if you are near a water source, I would definitely suggest it. But Arizona Trail, that may be a piece of gear that doesn't
Okay.
really needs.
Maybe that's not the place to try it out for the first time.
But
Probably
you can
not.
get away with only using like an ounce or two of water, I guess. But
Yeah.
I use all that I need and more, I'm sure. John is a
Not
child.
as a child. For all children, do y'all ever feel like, there's supposed to be this point in your life where you like grow up, like one day you're a kid and like suddenly you're going to reach just some moment in time where you're like, oh, I'm a grown up now. And like, you never get there. That never happens. I still feel like I'm like 9 in my brain. So
Oh,
when
yeah.
I'm in charge of like children, I'm just like, I'm the adult, right? I need an adultier adult because I'm not really an adult in my mind. I look like one and I'm the age of one, but I'm not one. I don't know. It's a weird thing. So we're all still
funny
kids.
is funny. Like the problem is funny is funny. And it doesn't stop being funny just because you got older. It's still funny. It's just,
Yeah.
I'm just being, here, look at this, like Rusty here. Consecutive O-rings is my new fantasy football team name.
That's
Oh,
funny.
anyways, you know what we need to do
all-
right now, Jeremiah? There's something we need to do right now. Dixie, tell people about how to find you. Like,
Oh,
most of the people out here do know that, but there may be some that have
no,
never
of course.
actually found you online. We'd love for them to know how to find you.
Homemade Wanderlust is the channel name, and I'm on the Instagrams and the TikToks, and I'm not as active on TikTok and Twitter. I need to. That's how you know you're getting old, when you're like, I don't want to do these extra things, but and the Facebook, and yeah, I'm on all those things. Patreon
And the blog.
pretty much it.
And a
Yeah.
book.
Yes, I have an ebook on like preparing to hike the AT, but I'm still working on an actual book of the story of those adventures. So, but that'll be a work in progress. It's hard to sit still long enough to write.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I think it's important, and this is just my opinion. I mean, you know way more about this than I do. You have a much more successful channel, and it's your livelihood. But I think focusing on like 3 platforms is going to be it's where the equilibrium is. So like I do Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and
That's
TikTok. I mean, that may be the future, and that's a younger generation thing. But if you can get so overwhelmed, because you got your blog, you got your YouTube channel, and you got all your social media sites, and you're doing extra stuff for Patreon. And it's like you said, there's only so much time in the day.
Yes, absolutely. And like right now, so I'm doing the Arizona Trail clean, like I'm going to be eating clean. So this is the first time I've done like a strict diet on a through hike. And so I really need to be preparing stuff. I wish I had a freeze dryer that would make things easy, because then you just have leftovers and you just put them in the freeze dryer. But anyway, yeah, so I need to be preparing for all that. And I work well under pressure, one of those interview things, like I work well under pressure. I wait till the last minute. That's my weakness, but the strength is I won't sleep for like 2 weeks before I go, and I'll get it all done. So, but yeah, so anyway, there's not enough time in the day for all of that stuff, and social media and the videos and the this and then that. But it's the best job I've ever had. So
that's awesome. We got 3 more super chats before we get out of here, because I want to make sure you get to see these. This one is from the Lacy's. Says, thank you, Dixie, for giving me the inspiration to start the next chapter of my life out on trail. I work from home, so this allows me to escape prison every weekend and or chance I get.
Yes, that's awesome.
And
That
then
is.
Marissa D, I did not ask the poop question.
She's also a patron, and every time we do, because we'll do Zoom sometimes, and she's always like the one bringing up farting and pooping. So it's great. So yeah, so that's why she's like, it wasn't me this time.
That's hilarious. And then Stanley Tam just simply says, a pile of poop with a face.
Oh, another emoji.
An emoji. An emoji.
Yep.
My friend Riga on the AT, she was like, we were going to the bathroom at the same time, like not right next to each other, like I couldn't see her, but I could hear her. And she was like, oh my God, I'm so tempted to take a picture of this one. It looks just like the poop emoji. And I was like, okay, I believe you. I don't want to see, like, please do not take a picture for me.
Oh my gosh. And then the last comment, this is not a super chat, but it's hilarious. It's from Delta Safari, and it says, I'm going to send you something to crap in. You're not getting this kind of content on MSNBC.
We ask the tough questions here, and facts are optional.
We are hard hitting here on the Backpacking Podcast.
Yes.
Dixie, thank you so much for being on here. We do need to get you back on here if we can. It would be awesome.
Thank y'all. Yeah, no, I would love to hang out again. This was a lot of fun. I appreciate it. And I've been wanting to start a podcast for a long time, but I don't want it to be about backpacking necessarily. I know that's weird, but like I just want to talk about everything. So so y'all have inspired me, because I'm like, man, they have such a cool setup and everything sounds so pretty and whatever. So yeah, one day I may pick y'all's brains about that if you're not offended.
Not offended in the least bit. Not offended in the least bit. Yeah, if you don't mind, just hang out in the green room for a few minutes, and
Okay.
we'll come back and we'll wrap up the show. And we'll come back and hang out with you in just a second.
All right, sounds good.
All right, we'll see you later. Thanks so much.
Bye, y'all. Thanks for coming.
That was everything I was hoping it would be, man. That was awesome.
I'll tell you what I'd like to do is have her back on and just swap trail stories.
Yeah.
I think that would be a blast, and it'd be a lot of laughs and a lot of fun. I think everybody'd really enjoy that too, and kind of peel back some of the layers that you don't get to see from just the videos.
Well, and I think everybody saw tonight what it is that makes her so approachable with her videos.
It's so genuine.
It's so genuine, so natural. Just it's a joy to sit and chat with her. That was fantastic. We did get one more quick super chat. Hopefully she's watching this right now, but it says, Dixie, I stumbled upon your YouTube channel when you were doing the AT. Love your videos. So that's an OG fan right there.
Yeah, if you haven't seen her AT videos, that was the start, the 7 or 8 years ago. Epic.
Absolutely. And it was funny because I didn't watch the AT videos when they were happening, because I was just too concerned with trying to figure out how to hike at that point, and I wasn't even thinking about doing like long trails and things like that. But man, when she started coming out with the gear videos and how to pack and all these other things, all that practical stuff was just huge for me. And then I was able to go back and watch the AT videos, and I watched the entire Triple Crown that she did. And it was so much fun just watching her experiences, seeing her going from a newbie backpacker who started out with a hammock and kind of a cheap one to like now she's using high-end gear, and she's, for all intents and purposes, a professional hiker. And just seeing the transformation over the years has been a lot of fun, and being able to be along that journey. So it's been an awesome night, Jeremiah. I don't know if we can top this one. We might just have to quit doing the podcast after this.
Yep, this might be the final episode.
This was it. We're done.
We'll put another one.
Thanks for 3 years, people. It's been great. We're signing off. We're never coming back. But in all seriousness, it's been great. It's been awesome. We've got more guests coming up in future weeks. We got more stuff happening. And if you didn't hear us a few weeks ago, we are hoping this summer, when Jeremiah and Bridget are on the Camino de Santiago, we are going to be doing some live streams with them from overseas. Yeah, so we're hoping to work that out. Yeah, and then also I know I'm going to be in Honduras for a week. You're going to be in Spain, and we're going to try and figure out a way to make Honduras and Spain come together. I don't know if it's going to work. It may be an absolutely awful idea, but we'll give it a try and see what happens.
Yeah, thank you everybody for coming out tonight. All the support, all the questions, and the chat, and just making this possible. It was a fun night.
And for the patience, man. We had right now the count of comments is 794 comments.
Oh my
So
God.
it was nearly impossible to keep up with all that tonight. So if your comment didn't get asked, I apologize. You know, thank you though for being here tonight. The conversation was hilarious. I was trying to read that and listen to Dixie at the same time, and it was cracking me up. So thanks to everybody, and for myself and for Jeremiah, we will catch you guys on the next one.
Adios, folks.